The referendum is now over, and as we know, 45% of people in Scotland voted so that they could actually form an independent country here in Scotland. That's a large number of people in a country of 5 million. And that's why the task for politicians in London is well cut out. Politicians in London will now have to take Scotland a little bit more seriously, deliver on their promise of devolving powers to Scotland and build bridges between England and Scotland. This is Rahul Joglekar in Edinburgh, Scotland for NDTV. Hello and welcome to Edinburgh here in Scotland. I'm at Edinburgh University shooting this segment with students, and a lot of people say that young people made the real big difference in this referendum. And here I am with 4 young and very dynamic people with a lot of views and opinions to share with us. And it should be pointed out that here I am at Edinburgh University, and this is the world's oldest students' union. So, you know, real student power here. Tell me, I'm going to ask the two of you, and you voted no, which is no to independence and to keep the union as one. Tell me, I mean, your reaction when you saw the results come out in the morning today, how did you feel?
Obviously, as I'd voted for this, I was quite glad, but my reaction in general was just happy to see such a big turnout and everyone's so mobilised about politics in the country.
Yeah. And that's not usually the case, right? I mean, in a general election, do lots of people go out and flock to polling booths? Is that, and especially younger people?
No, in Scotland we have very low turnout rates especially. So.
Yeah. So, and it should be pointed out that turnout rates were more than 80% in a lot of places, which is huge, isn't it? I mean, that's really interesting. Tell me, your reaction, you voted yes, that is, that Scotland should become an independent country. Why did you vote yes?
I just felt that Scotland was very much under centralised UK Parliament power, and I felt that if we brought that just to Scotland, we could do more for just the Scottish people. And I felt that just a chance for change, you know, you can do so much more just by changing things. It might not be better at first, but, you know, you have the opportunity at least.
Always people on this side of the university gates always want to change the world, and that's a reflection of why so many younger people went out to vote. What was your reaction when you saw these results come in? 45% versus 55% is really a close neck and neck battle, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I was actually quite deflated this morning waking up because I was a reluctant yes. I was very undecided for a long time. I was actually so surprised this morning at how kind of my reaction that I was so deflated, because I think the campaign brought about so much energy and vigour, and it just kind of feels that particularly here in Edinburgh today, that people are kind of, well, 50% of people are pretty gloomy and a bit miserable today, so, you know, that's not great.
And tell me, your reaction when you saw this, saw the results coming in. Were you, I mean, you were obviously happy at the result, but I mean, were you surprised that 45% of people actually wanted to form an independent Scotland?
My reaction was firstly excitement, because I always thought that the answer for Scotland was not to get separated from the Union, but to bring more attention to its current and developing issues. What I also felt looking at the result was that the whole movement of the independence referendum, it did not create the separation that was required, but it all brought attention to a lot of the issues. It gave voices to a lot of the people who were campaigning on the yes side and on the no side. And at the end of the day, the campaigns might have gone away, but the issues remain, which is great that the issues were brought into focus.
Well, what about you? I mean, what did you think of the two campaigns? I mean, did you feel as if you were really inspired by this, by the yes campaign?
Well, I'm only a recent yes, actually, and I just felt that, like you were saying, the no campaign, the word no is very negative. Yeah. You know, how can you make that inspiring? And that's what I felt about the yes campaign. There was so much vigour in it, and there was so much positivity and lots of passion, and it just made you feel happy and, you know, excited. You know, that was an exciting campaign, I felt.
What did you think of a lot of London politicians coming out and making their pitch to the people of Scotland, that too in the last kind of, you know, 2 weeks before the referendum? What did you make of that?
It's always seen as sound strategy to always try and influence the masses at the very last moment, when they're especially the indecisive ones. Yeah. And from whatever was said and done, it was always great to see that throughout the entirety of this referendum, The no voters, again, like I said previously, it was not only did they vote no, they weren't vocal about it, so it shows that the voters were educated voters who did not need to be influenced and spoken up and just motivated into voting yes, but they thought for themselves, they stayed calm and solemn, but then they voted what they thought was right.
Yeah. Okay. And the star campaigner, Mr. David Cameron, you know, the Prime Minister of this country, tell me, any one of you who was really inspired by what he had to say?
He didn't say anything.
What's that?
I don't think he was the lead campaigner at all. In fact, he might have been Prime Minister and fighting for the Union, but I think something that really annoyed me was that he didn't actually directly debate the issue, and I think that showed a lot of, well, I think it's political suicide what he did, not going head to head with Alex Salmon. I think he should have had the guts and stand up, and if he really believed in it, and that was one of the reasons why I kind of lost a lot of respect for him.
And also, is he very popular in Scotland?
Not at all.
I mean, his party gets sort of one parliamentary seat out of many seats in Scotland.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and you know, he supported, you know, what you wanted to vote, what you wanted to put on the ballot paper. What did you make of David Cameron's intervention?
I still do not think it was good. I voted no for my own reasons, nothing to do with...
Despite of David Cameron, not because of him.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, what about you, sir?
Same reasons exactly, and not having an extensive history on them, I base my judgments only on the facts that were given on paper and through the various seminars that I attended, so educated choice versus being forced by one person.
Which issue to you was the closest to your heart, and why? Did you want to...
I feel the nuclear weapons was very important to me. I think, although I do think that I think it would be very hard in an independent Scotland to actually go through that and get rid of the nuclear weapons. But I think
so you want that Scotland should not have any nuclear weapons at all. Why is that?
I'm a pacifist. I don't believe in war, and that's a horrible weapon of war, you know, and I just don't believe in it at all.
Okay. And just to wrap this up, tell me, I mean, the fact that 16-year-olds could cast their votes, I mean, that's big, right? I mean, the fact that you can't do a lot of things. I'm not going to get into details, but you can't do a lot of things till you're 18, but you can actually cast your vote in the referendum. Good thing, bad thing?
I think very good thing.
Yeah.
Because they're a big group of people that are going to be affected by the result.
Yeah.
And I felt that lots and lots of 16 and 17-year-olds were so informed and had the ability to use the kind of changing media that was utilised for the campaign.
Okay. And good thing, bad thing?
I was really impressed by it. At first I was really quite against it because I thought back what was I like when I was a 16-year-old. And I actually work with young people in my job, and I was just so impressed at how articulate they were, probably more articulate than some paid political politicians, and how they came to their decisions. I think it's just absolutely amazing. I just hope we can kind of capitalise on that energy for future elections.
Should this be perhaps, is this a good idea maybe for elections in India, 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds voting in elections?
I think including the 16-year-olds in this election was a great sign, because had this been a yes vote, by the time the economics of the country and the other factors would have stabilized, it would have been them who were living their lives at 40 or 50 years old. So it was great to see that they were given a chance to participate in their future rather than the older generations voting in for themselves. And in a country like India with a very young population, I think it is very essential that we involve the youth as well, so that the people who are currently working and the people who are going to work in the future are in charge of their futures, rather than the top class just dictating the terms.
Okay, maybe some notes for Indian democracy from the Scottish referendum here, and just one closing thought. One of you can take this. If you were to say something to kind of a message to people on the other side, people who voted no, what would that message be in 30 seconds? Who's going to take this?
To remember the promises that you made to the Yes campaign, and the powers that you're going to give to Scotland, and try and use them to change society for the better and make it far more equal, because the United Kingdom is a very unequal country at the minute. So just remember that.
And you're going to hold politicians to account on these things, right?
Totally.
Okay. And one of you who wants to pick this up, your message to people on the other side, because it's also, the referendum is over. Scotland is, after all, people, it's about building bridges. What would you say? One message in 30 seconds. You want to go for this?
Yeah. Well, I think it's the same, that they've managed to mobilise so many people who didn't care about politics before, and now the country is so excited about politics, or always talking about it, and just to keep that going and to make sure that we all take the UK government to account on their promises to make Scotland a better place.
Okay, fantastic. So we started with lots of points that we found we could disagree on, but you know, by the end of this debate, we found lots of things that we can agree on, which perhaps is a reflection of political issues in any country. That, you know, while it's important to be able to debate all of these things, it's important also to find common ground. Thank you all so very much for joining us. You know, this is Edinburgh University. Some really very dynamic students. All of them have very important points to make. And but the one thing is also the politicians who differed with each other during the campaigns have come out and tried to build bridges with each other. Now it remains to be seen whether London actually delivers on this promise of transferring more powers to Scotland. That remains to be seen, and of course we'll keep tracking this story here on NDTV. This is Rahul Joglekar in Edinburgh, Scotland for NDTV.
And back home, the champion Scottish golfer Colin Montgomery has been visiting. He is here in India for a golf clinic. He's been brought in by Hero Cycles. I in fact spoke to him earlier on in the day. Colin, do you believe the decision of Scotland to stay united is in the best interests of the Scottish people?
I do indeed. I think that the decision today was a vital decision. For everyone in Scotland to stay united, to stay within the Union, and I think I was very happy with the vote this morning. I was worried, you know, when you think about military, currency, whatever, you know, the decisions that haven't been taken yet don't have to be taken now, and I think that's vital for Scotland.
I believe that at the end of the day, pragmatism ultimately won over regional sentiment. Was that what it was all about?
I do indeed. I think the head won over the heart. I think a lot of Scots were voting with their heart and thinking, okay, and talking about heart, you think about Braveheart, you know, you think about all these many, many years ago. But I'm so glad that the Scots voted with their heads more than their hearts today.
Do you believe it's now incumbent upon the British government to reach out more to the Scottish people and give them additional autonomy, perhaps on issues such as taxation?
I wouldn't say taxation as such, but at the same time, there's obviously 45% of the population that aren't very happy. So there is an issue there. Of course there is. So yes, it's up to the government of Westminster to help the Scottish people, thinking that they've got something out of this, because this is a very, very important vote today. And everyone is talking about it. I'm talking about it here in India. So yes, we have to be careful and give those 45% people who aren't happy something to be more happy about.
But it really has to be said, isn't it absolutely marvellous that a referendum like this was held peacefully? It completely exemplifies the spirit of democracy.
Yeah, the Scots are very patriotic, very, very passionate, and very peaceful. Oh, we weren't 150, 200 years ago, but we are now. And of course, yes, that was a very democratic election, and we're so happy that it went off without any hitches, because you hear that some other places. But in Scotland, no. I'm so glad that was a very peaceful and well run referendum.
All right. Well, the champion Scottish golfer Colin Montgomery there. Thanks, sir, very much for speaking to us. We're completely out of time on the buck stops here. There's a lot more coming up on NDTV 24/7 from me. For the moment, goodbye.